You're watching Cad Roll Hunter, and I've got $250 of Canadian dimes. We're going to find out, can we find silver in dimes in Canada in 2024? Stay tuned. Hey everybody, this is James, and you're watching my channel, Cad Roll Hunter. I just picked up $250 in dimes. We've got 50 rolls of dimes here, Canadian dimes. Customer wrapped, anything goes in customer wrapped rolls, of course. We want to see if we can get some silver. I'm looking at these clear plastic rolls. I don't see any silver edges. There's some color variations, but usually it's the 80s and 90s dimes that look a little bit different in color. But in any case, we want to get into these rolls. I'm hoping to see if we can find some silver. I've had great luck in the past getting silver dimes from the bank. I think I've had 6 or even 8 in a box a couple of times, but it's been a while since I've done dimes, so I think we want to just get right in here and see what we might find. Can we get silver? Let's see. I always check the edges of my coins. I can see at least a couple of Americans in here. That's pretty common here in Canada, but I don't see anything that's obviously silver. I think a lot of Americans who hunt can get confused sometimes when they see a Canadian dime in their American rolls because the edge stands out. But here, silver edges still stand out from these silver colored edges. They're more white in appearance. I don't see anything quite like that as I drop all these dimes on the mat here. But we're going to lay this down and see what we can find. So we did find a couple of Americans in that roll, just a 1980 Denver and a 2005 Denver. Nothing really crazy there, but this roll was overstuffed. I got 50 dimes here, plus 1, 2, 3. So we made 30 cents on that roll. I don't know if that's going to continue, but if we're going to get overstuffed rolls through this whole thing, that'd be fantastic. Of course, I would still trade all of that for some silver, of course. So interestingly, everything in this roll has been solid nickel, some coins from the early 90s and earlier into the 70s, and found here a pretty nice looking 1983. I'll flip that over. Might want to hold on to that one. That one looks pretty uncirculated to me. Just towards the end of that roll, here's another nice and shiny one. This one is a 1995. Roll number 7, not much going on here. I've just got another American. It is going to be a 2005 Denver, and I'll set that aside. It's our 5th American so far, but we're actually up 7 dimes so far in the first 7 rolls, which is really crazy. We'll see if that holds up, but we had a few overstuffed rolls. Roll number 15, there is our 11th US dime. That one's a 2011 out of Denver. Roll number 16, there is a 1968. That's a transition year. Some dimes were made in 50% silver and some in nickel. The color is a little off there. It's not bright and white like silver, but if we want to know for sure, we would just take the magnet to it, and that is composed of nickel, so that's going to go back. If it didn't stick to the magnet, it would be silver and an absolute keeper. I've got a dime from the year 2000 here, and while this is a pretty common year, these are pretty plentiful. There are some varieties you want to check for, particularly in 98, 99, 2000, and 2003. Most of those years, if you flip it over, there's the portrait of the Queen, and there is no composition mark, no mint mark. But in 1998, you might find some with a W mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Winnipeg Mint. Those were meant only for sets. 1999, you might find one with a P composition mark, meaning multiply plated steel. Those were issued in sets and for testing as they were changing the composition to steel. In 2000, once again, there are W minted dimes, and in 2003, you'll find ones with the WP mark on it. All of those would be exceptionally hard to find, and you want to keep your eyes open for those ones for sure. Roll 21, and that's a pretty nice looking 1984. I'll have to see if that might upgrade my collection. I bet it's not going to. I think I've got really good uncirculated examples, but this is much better than we typically see. Roll 22, we're going to get our very first 2021 Blue Nose Under Sale, the non-color version. Beautiful coin. And we're going to get our 17th American dime. This one is going to be a 2001 out of Philadelphia. So things are a little slow going with those dimes, and that's just the way it goes sometimes with coin roll hunting. You got to take the bad with the good and the good with the bad. But that gives us a chance just to take a look at a few things that I just picked up. I was recently in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada for the Country Music Association of Ontario's awards show. I was participating that weekend playing some shows. I'm a musician. And I always, whenever I'm in another city, want to stop at a coin shop. And I stopped at Century Stamps and Coins and chatted with the owner, Sam. And I picked up a few things I wanted to just share with you. One of them being a bucket lister, but we'll start right here. I got this 1879 Morgan dollar. So this was in there, I guess, just circulated Morgan silver dollar bucket. So it's not a high grade coin, but this is a second year Morgan dollar. I'll flip it over. It's out of Philadelphia. I didn't have this one and the price was right, so I figured I would pick it up. I love old silver. 90% silver is pretty awesome. 1879. It's a very old coin. I know that you can get Morgan dollars in really nice condition, but this was pretty cool. In that same bucket, they had this piece dollar. I picked this one up. There were some that were maybe a little bit shinier, but this one here, if you look at it, this is a 1926. If I flip it over, it is a San Francisco. I'll try and zoom in on that mint mark. This one has some interesting toning, but the actual condition of the coin is really good. So we can see that it's probably been stored improperly, but the fields are actually pretty clean. If this was a bright white, it would probably be in a mint state condition. I mean, that might be what it would grade. I'm not sure. But with this toning, it makes it look maybe not as appealing to some collectors, but I thought it looked pretty cool just because it had great detail, lots of definition. It's not really worn anywhere. And yeah, again, one I didn't have. This last one I got was a bucket lister for sure. This is a 1923 Canadian 1 cent, a small cent. It's got King George V on the obverse. I'm going to have to try to see because of the plastic. It's not focusing as well. It's got a bit of a glare, but there we go. You can see the full band of the crown. So someone decided this is a VF20. That may very well be the case, but the 1923 is the key date of Canadian pennies, and this was the one Canadian small cent without taking into account really rare varieties or errors, but this was the one regular circulation issue. It's low mintage. It's just minted at just over 1 million coins that I didn't have. And so when I was there, I took a look to see what he had. This was the one that I thought was the most appealing, and the price was sort of right. And Sam gave me a great deal on all three of these, which was pretty awesome. So if you're in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, go and check out Century Stamps and Coins. It's on Lakeshore in Mississauga. Tell them Coinroll Hunter sent you, I suppose, and I'm sure you'll get a great deal. Okay, let's get back to those dimes. We're all the way in roll number 37, and we haven't had a whole lot going on here. We are up to 25 US. We had just got that one Blue Nose under sale, but we finally got another find, and it is our second of those Blue Nose under sale. This one, you can tell, looks pretty circulated. That's just what's going to happen now that these have been out there for a few years. But that's just really our second find in this box so far. I guess that's just the way that coin roll hunting goes. You never know. But you never know what's in these rolls until you open them up, so we still have a chance for something good. Roll number 41, there's a pretty old and worn Roosevelt dime, but it's not going to be silver. It's going to be a 1966 here, and it is our oldest American so far of the hunt. And I should say it's our oldest of anything of the hunt, because if we got a Canadian dime from 66 or earlier, it would absolutely be 80% silver, and that would have been awesome. And I saw another one peeking out here. We'll just take a peek. It looks more modern. It's definitely not going to be silver. What do we got here? This one is a much shinier and nicer 1995 out of Denver. So I'm just gathering up these coins from this roll to wrap them back up again so I can take them back to the bank when I'm done. And I dropped a dime, and I went on my hands and knees on the floor, and I couldn't find the dime, but I did find two other coins. I found a quarter. I'm pretty sure it didn't come out of this roll. And I found a 1936 King George V penny that I must have dropped at some point in time. There's no dot on there, unfortunately. But yeah, that found a couple bonus things that apparently I dropped and didn't even know I'd dropped. Cool. Roll number 43, and we're going to have one in the 90s, I think, or early 2000s that looks like it could be in a mint state. This one is a 1999. That is a beautiful coin. I'm going to hold on to that one. It's nice. Roll number 46, and edge check is telling me there's going to be a few copper edged US dimes in here, but no silver, and we're running short on opportunities. We've only got a few more rolls after this one. So this is our Roll 50 edge check, and it looks like we are going to get shut out of silver. No silver, nothing terribly old in here. We'll take a peek and see if there's anything in here. Otherwise, I'll do a wrap up. This last roll is going to give us our 44th US dime. This one's a 2014 out of Philadelphia. I think that was the only copper edge I saw in here. So that's it, 50 rolls hunted, and you know what? You win some and you lose some. This wasn't a great box. We didn't really get much of anything. We got 44 US dimes. That's pretty typical, maybe a little on the high side perhaps, but it's just really common to get lots of American dimes here. We got 2 blue nose under sale. Those were our only 2 finds really to speak of. We did get some nicer coins that I set aside, some 2022. There's a 2007. We got some other ones here, earlier ones. There's an 84, an 85. We got that 1999. There's a 95. There's a 98. I'm going to look through and just see if any of these are really worth keeping. I'm going to look closer at these to see. I don't really want to keep anything that's not necessarily in a mint state, so I'll take a look at those. One thing that's interesting, though, is that on our 50 roll hunt, we were actually up at the end of the day. For those of you keeping score at home, we were up by 9 dimes. So we were 90 cents up. It's usually the other way around, particularly when we have lots of these plastic wrapped rolls, these plastic rolls. I find that 49 fit in there pretty nicely, but 50 really don't. You have to kind of squeeze it in. And so people just fill it until there's resistance and then they close it up. So I don't think people are trying to cheat us, but they're not necessarily counting. But I'm counting, and we got 9 more than we would normally expect to get. So that's pretty cool. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this video anyhow. Even though we didn't find anything really interesting, the next box might be totally different. You just never know. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do so and hit that button. I'd appreciate it. And give the video a like. That's the best way you can support the channel. Make sure my videos get out there to more people. Thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate it. We'll see you again next time. The sponsors of today's video are Lighthouse Canada and the Charlton Press. Lighthouse Canada is the leading supplier of high-quality numismatic supplies in Canada, and the Charlton Press is the leading publisher of coin and paper money catalogs and price guides for Canadian collectors. Go check out their online stores today and use the exclusive discount code CRH20 for 20% off all your purchases.